Will Smith is back. Yes, I know what you're thinking, because I'm literally psychic. The first thing that entered your head when I said that was this.
Oh, wow! Wow! Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
It's been 3 years since the slap heard round the world at the 2022 Oscars. And a lot's happened since then. Inflation reached peak highs, the continued conflict in the Ukraine, Trump got elected, again, the rise of AI generation. It's been a tumultuous time for the world, both socioeconomically and culturally. But would you believe it's been an even more rough time for Will Smith?
Now, know, to do what we do, you gotta be able to take abuse, you gotta be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you gotta be able to have people disrespecting you. And you gotta smile and you gotta pretend like that's okay.
That's terrible.
Now you might be wondering, what could Will Smith have possibly done to revive his cool boy image from such a humiliating, infamous, and near-criminal display of such an overblown emotional reaction due to trauma in his life he wasn't nearly ready to face?
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to, okay? Okay.
What could possibly make the public put respect on his name again, after all the cucking he's had to endure with his wife? The embarrassment of dealing with the public backlash of his own children and their, fame? Well, a diss track, of course. A 3 years late diss track. All I have to say after listening to this track is, wow. I've seen some desperation in my time when it comes to celebrities, actors, pop stars, and big-time CEOs of huge companies, but this has to take the cake of all desperate moves I've seen yet. Well, let's get into it. But before we do, if you could, please hit the subscribe button and like the video, as that helps greatly to get me seen in the algorithm. Now let's continue with the video. The track is apparently part of an entire album, but you can just look them up on YouTube for free. I don't even know what an album means in today's day and age. Seems like these are all standalone tracks to me. Maybe they share a similar theme or something. Who knows? This is also Will Smith's first album since 2005, so I guess he's got a lot to say now. It should also be noted that on these tracks, he's collaborating with two other artists, Jazzy Jeff and B. Simone, one of which who's a comedian, so I'm not sure what that's all about. It is interesting to me that even when he has something to say, he needs two other people to join him to say it. Pretty weak.
Beta!
The track kind of goes like this. It's set in a barbershop, hence the title, and there's these two people going back and forth spreading rumors about Will Smith, his life, his career, and yes, even the slap heard round the world. The question for me is, does this track actually do anything to help Will Smith's career? His image? Well, let's go through it a bit and find out. So it starts out with this. Will Smith is cancelled. Oh, you can't cancel no icon. Now, look, I know narcissism runs rampant with celebrities, especially ones of Will Smith's multi-decade-long legacy and cultural status, but to me this reads more as a desperate plea for people to see him as he once was. He's an old dog doing old tricks, and nobody's impressed. Next it goes on to say, boy please, he walk around like he all invincible or somebody. Don't be messing with Will, he the Fresh Prince.
Huh?
Who is saying this? Don't be messing with Will? Literally nobody is saying that anywhere. This feels to me like one of Will Smith's feelings inside his head, like from Disney's Inside Out. It's lashing out and demanding people respect Will. The Fresh Prince mention just solidifies his desperation for people to remember his glory days when he was cool. Not famous, but cool. That's the truly sad thing here. Who the F Will Smith think he is? And that boy damn crazy how he raising them kids, what? No, he isn't. Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Yes, he is. So now we have two people arguing over Will Smith as if the opinions of him aren't about 95% unanimous. Yes, I pulled that number out of my ass. Talking about his kids and trying to assert like anyone would think it's normal how Jaden Smith is being raised. Again, desperate and sad. And I ain't never gonna forgive him for that S he did, boy bye. I mean, Will Smith used to be cool. He's still the S, he can fit your whole house in his pool. Again, having to do a whole song about how you used to be cool and how people are shitting all over you without proving them wrong, well, it kinda just proves them right. It'd be like if Bush made a diss track of how he was working with bin Laden. And? You were, dude. And banking on your money when you can't convince people you're cool is about the most uncool thing you could possibly do. Well, I can't have friends, but at least I can buy anything I want. I know, I'll buy people's friendships. I don't know, I mean he rich, but he ain't rich. Boy, please, I don't even remember the last flick he did. You don't remember Aladdin? What about Men in Black? Yeah. Okay, mentioning your IMDb best hits as a humble brag, yeah, we all remember those movies, and Aladdin wasn't that great. We're sure you got paid a lot, Bill. I don't recall literally anyone raving about your shitting all over Robin Williams' legacy in that shoddy-ass remake with your pale, desperate imitation of the genie from the original Aladdin, and desperately trying to pull the young and brash bravado you once pulled off in the early 90s. You just ain't cool anymore, dude. I know you're badass guac bad boys. I know you remember that, plus the soundtrack. I heard he down bad. I heard he won the Oscar, but he had to give it back. And you know they only made him do that shit because he's black. He don't need it. He the first to win a Grammy for rap. That's a fact. What is this, a resume? He's just rattling off his qualifications and awards he won for being cool once upon a time. He reminds me of someone who's been out of work for 15 years and then tries to come back on the scene without skipping a beat and jumping out and yelling out, "Hey everyone, remember me?" Yes, and we thought you retired long ago. That's a fact. He put all the Philly on his back. Bottom line, y'all, Will Smith is whack. Now he thinks he'll get some cred back for being born in Philly, again harkening back to his Fresh Prince days. I'd rather have the gang from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as friends. Actually, this does remind me of that one scene from the show where Mac and the gang are dancing at their high school reunion. Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Face it, Will, those days are long gone, and even Carlton seems cooler than you now. I mean, he rich, funny, and sexy too. You wish you had a Jada Pinkett next to you? What? What? What the fuck? Did I read that right? You wish you had a Jada Pinkett next to you. Even said as an argumentative fictional discussion, that line is about the cringiest part of this song. Yes, you want a woman who's going to drive you crazy, cuck you for a guy half your age, humiliate you in public about it several times, destroy your kids' lives, and drive you so far up the wall that you end up slapping a guy just for telling a joke about her. The true irony here is this is a song about facing demons, and the one thing he won't do is face the one living in his home. This song is just another deflection from the truth he's been running from all this time, that his soul is destroyed and he let her do it to him. Now he's taking it out on the world since it's the safer target. He's like an emo kid who won't eat his vegetables. Aw, but mom, do I have to? I'm the Fresh Prince. Him and Jada both crazy, girl, what you talking about? Well, at least the song acknowledges this fact. You better keep his wife's name out your mouth. Did Will Smith's line, "the day of the slap," become a household quote and I'm just now hearing about it? He's trying to make it the next famous line, like, "May the force be with you," or "I'll be back." You're talking shh, but if he came right now, you'd be like, "Come in, Mr. Smith, would you please sit down?" Hell nah, I'd be like, "Come get a fade, cause all your haircuts I've seen on the big screen been lame." So, someone would try to beat up Will Smith because he doesn't like his hair? Or does he mean like actually get a fade haircut? I'm not even sure. Whatever the case, clearly Will Smith hasn't been an actual part of reality since 1992. One thing's for sure, you can't call him lazy. I ain't trying to call him lazy, I'm calling the N-word crazy. By the way, on the YouTube version of this, the line says ninja, which is neither cool nor edgy. If you're going to say the N-word, just say it. I'm sure on the actual album it's the actual N-word, but why even bother making that edit? A black man can't even say the N-word anymore? Why even do the song then? One classic album, what that make him? Jay-Z? Jay-Z plus movies and TV. Look, he's still the GOAT. Bad Boys came in first. Now look, I like Bad Boys 4. It was a good film. But bragging about it in a diss track about how everyone should think you're cool after you beta rage on stage about your wife cucking you just reads as desperate. Other people should do the bragging for you. When you do it yourself, it always comes off hilariously pathetic. The mention of Jay-Z as if he's even nearly on the same level is pretty funny as well. Apparently, he got advice from both Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar on how to be cool in his new album, which, again, is about the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. It's like, here, we know you made a total fool of yourself, but just admit how uncool and desperate you are, and maybe people will feel sorry for you. I'm sorry, but if that was the intent, it failed, because the only thing I feel about Will Smith now is he's a fading celebrity who's disgraced himself in front of the whole world, effectively destroying his own legacy, and faded out with a whimper. It's about the saddest ending you can imagine. I don't like his damn music. That N-word don't effing curse. He gonna drop a new record like we all gon' forget. He need to take another year and untangle some S. Oh my god. Who the F will think he is? He only still relevant because of his kids. Shut up. A few more self-deprecating lines about how he doesn't curse in his songs, more mention of his kids, ironically speaking on how relevant it makes him, which in turn makes this song more relevant. I don't think Will completely understands the concept of satire. It's only clever and funny if you're not embodying the very thing you're satirizing. No, he isn't. Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Yes, he is. Man. More arguing like anyone is disagreeing about how much of a wimp Will Smith is these days. And I ain't never gonna forgive him for that S he did. Uh-oh. Oh shit, they need me in the back. Come in, Mrs. Smith. Would you like to sit down? He says this line at the end like it's some gotcha. Like if you talked shit about Will Smith behind his back, then met him and was nice, or his wife, that means you're fake. Well, no shit, Sherlock. People not being upfront and honest to your face means they don't respect you. It's not because they fear you or even want anything from you. It's because you're not respectable enough to even be honest too. And that's the whole track. Honestly, I was always a big fan of Will Smith. I liked most of his films, and I even liked that Wild Wild West movie everyone shat on. I thought it was creative, visually interesting, and really funny. Especially Kenneth Branagh as Loveless.
How nice of you to join us tonight and add color to these monochromatic proceedings.
Well, when a fella comes back from the dead, I find that an occasion to stand up, to be counted.
Nevertheless, when that slap came, I feel like it had already been like 10 or 15 years after Will Smith's career sort of fizzled out, and nobody really talked about him anymore. He just wasn't the draw he used to be, and even some films he was in the last decade or so have bombed pretty hard. You know that one he was in with his son had to hurt bad to lose money on. Afterbirth or whatever it was called. That said, when that slap came, it was at the tail end of all those interviews you saw of him and Jada Pinkett talking about their private life and how she cheated on him with a younger man. At that point, that's when my opinion of him changed, and it became hard for me to really imagine him as a leading man in films anymore, because you knew that the character he was playing was almost like a deflection, a mask of his true self, or an idealized version of himself you wanted to project. And that's exactly what this song is, a projection of what he wants you to see in him, a version of cool he'll perhaps never embody ever again. Trying to recapture your glory days when you're having a midlife crisis as a man is really nothing new, but to do it in such a catastrophic and humiliating way that Will did redefines that phenomenon to such a degree as to make it truly irreversible and full of unrelenting trauma, stuck in a loop of his own creation and nowhere left to go as mortality swallows his life and career whole. That's the sad fact here. Will is trying to relive those moments of being young and cool again, and those days are long gone. It's time for him to truly embrace manhood, and it's not always pretty. With manhood comes sacrifice, living not just for yourself, but for others, and even putting your own needs aside to care for those in your life. His struggle to accept manhood can be felt in that slap, as if he was rebelling against what was expected of him, with no other outlet to release it than on that stage. That's something that can't be undone. And for him to act as if it can be written off with a diss track isn't cool, it's juvenile, and feels more like a temper tantrum than a clapback. I'll still be waiting for Bad Boys 5 though. Maybe another Men in Black would be cool to see as well. And on that note, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Consider becoming a patron on my Patreon as well, and my links are all in the description below. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay scared.